wondering if at the end, when Douglass withholds knowledge, withholds the fact concerning his escape to slavery.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's calling attention to the problem of knowledge as such, not who should have it and who shouldn't have it, but whether knowledge is itself sustaining the master-slave logic as such.
Yeah, that's such a loaded question for me, because I think at stake in that is how we see the entire narrative and what its purpose is. I do think that Douglass felt, as the years went on, that an autobiographical narrative, as he practiced it in the 1840s, in the 1845 and the 1855 piece, would only produce this sort of delusion of mastery, and that it was incumbent upon him as a celebrated black man of the 19th century, especially the late 19th century, to be more and more involved in more direct kind of political speech about events, about causes.
Always agitate.
Yes, to agitate. But for the agitation to move away from the sort of autobiographical sociological constraints that Langston Hughes and others still go on to complain about after Douglass. But let's go back to the narrative for a minute. If it begins in a space of revoked or refused knowledge, of self-knowledge, fascinatingly, I think it ends in a moment where Douglass ascends to the abolitionist stage, and he tells us quite pointedly that this is the moment that he becomes the Douglass we already know. Up until this point, he's been giving us all the information that we don't know of the Douglass we know, but that information, regardless to the Douglass we know, related to Douglass we know, that has been withheld of us, withheld from us. Information about Douglass withheld. We have that now, so he is now free, because we have that information. He doesn't have to tell that part of his story. There's a kind of burden there that he must always tell these other parts of the story. So now Douglass has created a sort of machine that is automatically telling his own story so that he doesn't have to. So he's free from producing those sorts of identity papers all the time in public. But now the fascinating thing is we are implicated in that knowledge, and it's his self-knowledge. I have now become, from that day to this, I think is one of the final and antithetical grammatical moments of the last sentence I'm trying to remember here. From that day to this, I leave it to you to judge how my efforts have been in this abolitionist. Because that's the Douglass we know.